And good morning. Welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls, and I'm your host. And listen, I have a guest on today that I literally... Okay, so here's the backstory. As you guys know, Matt Koenig and the Rockstar Automotive Conference is a sponsor of this show. Make sure you're at the Rockstar Automotive Conference in Las Vegas in May, and I don't know the exact dates, but I'm going to be there. So anyway, Matt he posted something on Facebook, and he said, if you use Calendly or any other calendar scheduling tool, you need to stop that crap right now and go sign up for this other software, and it's called Book Like a Boss. I signed up for it because I use Calendly, and Calendly has some issues that I am not fond of. So I signed up for Book Like a Boss, and holy moly, it is unbelievable. And I convinced the CEO of the company to interrupt his afternoon, because it's afternoon where he is, and come on the show and introduce himself and talk about his story. So I'm going to butcher his name, just so you guys know. But I'm going to welcome my new friend. Oh, God, I hate saying this. Nachum Kligman, right? Am I close?
Perfect. You are perfect. That's awesome.
Tell him how to say your name, man.
No, that's great. Nachum Kligman. That's great.
Okay, good. So Nachum is in Israel, and you can tell he's got a very, very thick accent.
Yeah, very Israeli.
So now let's start with telling everybody where you were born and raised. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So I was actually born and raised in Passaic, New Jersey, which is in North Jersey, about 10 minutes from Lincoln Tunnel. I grew up there until I guess I was about 18. Actually, then went to Israel for about 5 years. I thought it was going to be 1 year, and ended up staying for 5 years. Then went back to Passaic for 3 years. Actually, no, for I guess another 8 years. But found my wife, lived there, married for 3 years, and then moved to Israel in 2002.
Wow. You just couldn't take living in the States, huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was here for 5 years. My wife actually came to learn here for a year, and we just fell in love with the country, and we both wanted to move here and raise our children here. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've never been to Israel. I've heard that it's an amazing place to be, though.
Absolutely, and you got to come, Ken. We're buddies now. We're friends. You said my name right.
That's right. And hey, I was telling you I've never had a passport in my life, but I'm leaving next week to go to Jamaica, and so I have a passport coming. Like, it's going to be here like any day now. So hopefully, since I leave next Friday, so now I can come. I have a passport.
That's it.
That's it. So let's talk a little about. So you grew up in Jersey. Where did you go to college?
First semester. I was actually, like a lot of entrepreneurs, school didn't agree with me, or I didn't agree with school.
Yeah.
So actually, I left. I got kicked out of 3 high schools, and then what was supposed to be my senior year of high school, I actually enrolled myself in some community college courses, where I did very well there. But it was after my would have been my senior year of high school. I was already in college, but I decided to go to Israel again, what was supposed to be for a year, and ended up there for 5 years. So I sort of skipped the college thing, but I don't think I would have gone anyway. I was just, always entrepreneurial from a kid, and I didn't feel that college was for me. I was very street smart, but not very book smart.
Yeah, I feel you, man. They told me my senior year, I hated school. I'm just going to be honest. I hated it. And they told me my senior year, hey, you didn't get a biology credit in 10th grade. And I'm like, yeah, I hated that class. Like, who likes biology? And they're like, well, yeah, you need that credit to graduate. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm never going to use, who's going to dissect a frog in their 40s? Like, I'm not dissecting a frog ever again. Like, I understand how the leaves collect the sunlight. I'm good. Let's just roll. And they didn't see it that way. So I said,
Right.
I'm out. peace. I got stuff to do. I'm not so I left like 2 months before graduation. I said, well, if I'm not graduating, I'm not coming back for a year for this crap. So,
Right.
good luck with your lives. So, yeah, I can relate, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think, school has been the same way for what, like 60, 70, 80 years now. It's time
Yeah.
for a change. I need to do things a little bit differently,
Dude, I
in a
totally
lot of
agree.
different ways. Again, like even, geometry and algebra, I knew back then I was never going to need it. And if I ever needed it, so I'd hire somebody that knows it, you know?
Right.
Why do I got to, I think people need to concentrate and look at their inner talents and what they're good at and really focus on the skills that they have and things that they enjoy. And then you're just going to accelerate and, do well with what you know. And nobody can know everything, but you may as well do what you do know.
Dude, I totally agree with that. And I think that you're right. School's been like, here's what's interesting, and I've had so many people say, Grant Cardone, I don't know if you know who he is or not, but
Sure.
he's a friend of mine. I used to work on his website, and he's a great dude, great guy. And he talks about it all the time, like, college, like you're going to college and getting into $200,000 in debt to come
Yeah,
out of college and probably not use the degree that you just went into debt for.
exactly.
Like, and it's insane to me. And I'm sure you've interviewed college kids. I had a kid show up one time for an interview that was it was like he was in between junior and senior year. He had to have an internship with a marketing company to graduate. Like it was a requirement, right? And I
Right.
said, okay, so we're talking about a free internship then, right? And he's like, oh, no, it has to be paid. And I go, okay, well, how much? And he's like, oh, I'm thinking like 20. I go, 20,000? And he goes, no, $20 an hour. I said, get out of my office.
$20
I'm
an
going
hour.
to pay you $20 an hour to learn from me. Have you lost your mind? Get out of here. So, like, that's what they're teaching kids, though.
No, it's crazy. I tell anybody, I get asked a lot of questions, and when we get to the book like a boss story, I'll tell you a little bit more how that happened. But I was a business coach and I was helping people, and whenever anybody asks me advice, I said, listen, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you want to start a business, and you're a teen, I said it's better to spend the money, $100,000, $200,000 on starting a business, even if you fail.
Right.
It's better to put the money into that because you're going to learn everything you need to know about survival and about being an entrepreneur and starting a business and accounting and hiring and firing and marketing and everything that goes into running a company. And that money is going to be more well spent learning by doing than hearing someone else teach you.
Amen, man. Wow. Dude, we need to get that message out to everybody. I'm going to cut that clip and I'm just going to spread it all over the internet because that is 1,000% true.
Absolutely, just not to my parents.
well, I'm going to target them in a Facebook ad. So, like, no, I mean, that's the thing. Unless you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a,
Right,
my
no,
sister's a
100%.
nurse practitioner. So,
Yeah.
there's some requirements there. If you're going to be a nurse or whatever, but like, because I
Yeah, no,
certainly wouldn't want,
100%.
I wouldn't want a high school dropout operating on my brain.
Exactly. Obviously, college are professions and things that is definitely helpful and beneficial for. But even if you want to be an auto mechanic, it's much better to work for an auto mechanic and learn with your hands by doing than to hear someone else talking about it. So it really depends on what profession you want. But there's definitely for entrepreneurship and business, there's no better learning than by doing.
I 1,000% agree with you. 1,000%. So along your journey, so you ended up in, so you're from Jersey, you ended up in Israel. Was that with your parents?
Actually, my parents they came 10 years after us,
Okay.
so they're here now, but took them a little bit to get to us.
So you went to Israel on your own as a teenager, late teens, or?
Yeah, for my community, it was very common for people after the year after high school to take a gap year before college,
Oh, okay.
and go to Israel for the year. And I just fell in love with the place and ended up staying for 5 years as opposed to just
Wow.
1 or 2 like most people.
That's
And plus,
awesome.
I didn't really have a desire to go back to college, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to stay in Israel.
Yeah, we've covered that for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? So you end up in Israel. You come back to the States. You find your wife. You go back to Israel, and this whole time you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur since I can remember. I was a kid that was babysitting, shoveling snow for $20, including a driveway and sidewalk.
Yeah.
Doing baseball cards, selling at trade shows, candy locker at school. That was shut down because I was making more money than the teachers.
Yeah.
I was always entrepreneur, always looking how to make money. It was always a passion and drive that I had. So.
Boy, teachers don't like it when you're doing better than them in high school.
Exactly. They're like, well, how can we teach this kid? Maybe he should be teaching us.
Right? Yeah, they didn't think that. I guarantee it. They would have been smart to think that, but I'm sure they didn't.
No. Because they went to college.
What's that?
Because they went to college.
Right, I know that made them really. So you ended up. What when you say you were an entrepreneur, what was like your first non-candy locker business? I mean, your first real business. What'd you do?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So what happened was after, well, actually, I opened up a restaurant in Israel for a year, which was a great experience. Always wanted to do that, but it was like really brutal. It was like getting up at 6 a.m., not getting back to midnight, and the location I had wasn't so great. And I just said, you know what? There was no way to really grow it. If I was going to spend 15 hours a day doing something, it was going to be something that was going to make a lot more money than I was making there. So I sold the restaurant, and then I came back to the States, and I said, you know what? I bought Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine, Small Business everything I could, and I looked at all the different business opportunity ads that they had back in the day. I mean, they still have them. They still have them.
God. You're telling my story, dude. Go ahead.
So I went through all the different kits and all the different VHS tapes that they sent me and all the different business opportunities.
Yep.
And the one that really came calling to was a company called Bosco. I don't even think they're around anymore. But it was in the advertising specialty business, printing, T-shirts and hats and all that different type of stuff. And I realized that that's something I love because I love marketing. I love branding. I love it wasn't to me a hard sell because people love to see their name and brand on great stuff.
Yeah.
And plus, as a, I guess I was in my 20s at the time. It was great because I could make a sale, make a few $1,000s, then not do anything for a couple of weeks, and then, make another sale, have a good time. And so I really enjoyed that business. And then I ended up buying a franchise called Adventures in Advertising, which was in this industry as well. And so I spent I guess about 10 years doing promotional products and advertising specialties. And, I really enjoyed that business.
Wow. So were you selling like to companies to get their logo put on stuff and?
Exactly. T-shirts, hats, mugs, all those different types of things.
And you did that for 10 years?
Yeah, I did it for 10 years. I mean, when I got married, I did it for 3 years. While I was married. Actually, I took a break. Yeah, exactly.
Like that?
Exactly. I could tell you how much that cost, how much our cost was, where to get it, that type of stuff, and all the inside ASI secrets.
Yeah.
But I did it. Actually, I always had a problem. It's also common, I guess, with entrepreneurs is working for someone else. But when I got married, my in-laws sort of felt that probably it'd be good if I had a job as opposed to just running my own thing. So I tried that for like 3 or 4 months, again, in this industry. But that didn't work out well. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So I left, and then I continued doing it on my own. And then I had, my first high-tech idea, which I started when I was in the States. But that failed after just about 3-4 months, unfortunately. It was a great idea, but it was illegal. So
it was what? It was illegal?
It was illegal. And it was funny because it was the dot-com boom. And I had like a huge law firm in Manhattan that took like a 7% interest in the company, do all the legal work, and it was a fantastic idea, but there was no way to do it legally. It was sort of like a what's called like a Chinese auction. I don't know if the audience is familiar with it, but basically the idea was that I'd have a platform, and let's say Ford would donate a car to a nonprofit organization, let's say the American Red Cross.
Yeah.
Right, and then we would auction off tickets for donations that would go to win the car. So Ford looks great because they get a tax write-off and they donate a car to the American Red Cross.
Right.
right? American Red Cross can make, tens of thousands of dollars on this auction, and we as a platform make 15% on it.
Okay.
And the idea was to have thousands of these auctions going at one time, and it was a huge business. Had a lot of very well-known people involved with it, and but what happened was that after spending tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees that thank God I didn't have to pay for because they had equity, but they said it was illegal, that there was no way to do it legally because it was still considered gambling, even though the money was going to nonprofits. Anytime someone puts money into something for a chance to win something, it was considered illegal. Now, 20 years later, there is a company, I forgot the name offhand, but they're doing something similar, but with celebrities and getting on TV shows and getting on walk-on roles in movies and all this stuff.
Wow.
And meeting with actors. And I forgot the name, but the loophole that they found was that if you can enter the contest for free, then you could ask for donations, people to pay for other entries. But at the time, we didn't find that loophole. And so after 3-4 months, I closed it, went back into – that's when I bought the Adventures in Advertising franchise. And here's another great can I tell the story? I don't want to – whatever. Long story short, I wanted to move – when I wanted to move to Israel, I wanted to take the franchise and open it up in Israel.
Yeah.
And the company, people from the company told me, great, that's a great idea, you could do it. And then when I moved to Israel, and this was back in 2002, it was a war zone then, it was crazy what was going on over there.
Yeah.
But, I placed an order for one of my clients for some shirts. And the printer called me like a week later, said, hey, we never got your shirts. And so I called the manufacturer. I said, why didn't you send over the shirts? They said, oh, corporate said we can't send your shirts. So I called corporate and I said, why can't I sell my shirts? And why didn't you send my shirts? They said, why'd you tell them not to send my shirts? And they said, because you can't legally operate your franchise outside of the United States.
Oh, my God.
Now, I said, but I have emails from someone very high up in your company telling me that it was okay. I said, yeah, well, he likes to talk, but he doesn't really know the laws. I said, but I just moved my family 6,000 miles away into the middle of a war zone, and you're telling me I can't operate my franchise from here? And they said, that's correct. I said, I'll see you in court. A couple of days later, I got a very nice settlement offer, which was fantastic. And so I took the settlement, which gave me some nice pocket cash.
Yeah.
And then there was another company called I Promote You, iPromoteYou.com, and they're still around, and they were fantastic to work with. They weren't a franchise, so I was able to work with them. And so I did that for a couple of years until I opened up my first high-tech company in Israel, which is going back to 2002 also, towards 2003. And my first high-tech company in Israel was a company called Invite, IMVITE.com, and it was an interoperable instant messaging company with a built-in affiliate program. So you remember instant messaging back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
AIM and Yahoo, MSN, and right. So we created a platform that you could communicate with all the different chats out there, but we also attached a mall to it. And anytime you purchase something from the mall, you get a discount. Anybody that you invited to use our chat bought something, you would get a discount. You would get money from their sales as well. So that's also a long story. I don't know how much time we have, but
we got all day. Hey, man, it's the internet and my show. We can go all day. I don't care.
All right. So, I mean, basically what happened was in 2004, 2005.
You found out it was illegal.
No. Totally legal. I was the first one to come up with the idea for RSS feeds in a messenger.
Wow.
I always think a little bit ahead of the time. And what happened was we had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of users and all over the world using it. And I told my partners, I said, hey, listen, I have this, there's something new in the world. This is 2005. It's called social networking. And I want to create a social network. And I already found a company in California that we could do it for about $5,000. And we'll integrate this social network platform with our, hundreds of thousands of users using this instant messenger. And they said, well, what's this social networking thing? I said, well, it's a platform people come in, they could connect with each other, and they could actually post things and they could read about it. And they said, well, and my partner, I had two partners. One of them said, well, we can't do that. I said, why not? He says, well, if we give them a platform, they can speak bad about us. I said, it's the internet. They can speak bad about us anyway. And he said, yeah, but we shouldn't give them the platform to do it. I said, listen, I'm the visionary of the company. If we're not going to do this, then I'm going to leave the company. And the third partner voted with my other partner, and so I left. Now, this was 2005. This was when Facebook was just in Harvard. Okay, we
God.
had we could have had hundreds of thousands of people in our social network, and we could have
Uh,
exploded. But wasn't meant to be.
wow.
And I left and I started another company originally it's called Qoof, QOOF.com. And that was in the video space. People in 2005 were looking at online video
Yep.
and how do we make money? How do we monetize it? Pre-rolls, post-rolls, mid-rolls. YouTube had just gotten started. And I looked at video differently. I said, how do we use video as a selling tool? And so I actually have a couple of patents in my name for some of the development we did in terms of overlays and making the video into a sales tool. And that company actually just sold about 6 months ago
Wow, man.
after about 10 years, or maybe even longer, 12 years, 15. I don't know. It's a
Jeez.
long time. That was 2005 to I left. I left after 5 years though, but then I started a couple other companies, and then I guess I don't know, just about 4 years ago or so, or 5 years ago, I started another company. I said I have a special needs son who has cerebral palsy,
Mm.
and he had a drooling problem, and he used to always wear a bib around his neck.
Yeah.
And I said, he was already like 14 years old. I said, at 14, he should be wearing a bib around his neck, or maybe 12, 13, whatever, however old he was. And I said, what if I created a shirt that had like a bib on the inside that was antibacterial, quick dry, absorbent, etc. And then he could wear a shirt like everyone else. And I said to
Wow.
myself, I said, how hard could it be to create a shirt? Apparently, it's a lot harder than I thought. And manufacturing apparel, manufacturing in China, I launched a Kickstarter campaign which was successful, but I got messed over by China, and there was nothing I could do. For example, like I had ordered, I don't know, like 1,000 shirts, and I had ordered shirts with the bib on the inside
Yeah.
and without. So it was like 75% was with and 25% was out without the bib,
Yeah.
because I wanted regular people in the family to wear the same shirts as the special needs child.
Yeah.
It was a great idea, beautiful story. But China, I signed off on the final papers about delivery after going back and forth for like 6 or 7 months with the colors, the fabrics. It was just crazy. Everything just took so long. And make a long story short, they had sent out 75% without the bib and only 25% with the bib.
Uh,
Really, really screwing over like hundreds of my customers that have been
oh
waiting like
no.
6 to 8 months for the shirts. Then I had to reorder, and I couldn't start the process new with another manufacturer because, it would have just taken another year.
Right.
And I asked them for a discount, and they said, "Okay, let me speak to my manager." And actually, I had gone to China. I went to China to meet with the manufacturer, and they had, some good clients. But it turns out if you're only doing like a deal that's worth tens of thousands of dollars,
Yep.
you're not worth that much to them. They'll throw you to the side for nothing, and try to sue them. But they decided that it would be so nice and give me a 2% discount on my next order.
Oh my God.
So I
Wow.
lost, and this was a labor of love. I'd sunk a lot of my own personal funds into it, and I'd spent a couple of years doing it and trying to build it out. And then I had some investors that came on board, and they ended up messing us over. They weren't savvy investors. How do you say, they weren't experienced. Like we had given them projections
Yeah.
on where we think the business is going to be, and then they tried holding us to the projections, even though we had manufacturing problems. But they said, "Well, why didn't you sell the shirts?" Well, we had whatever. Long story, nightmare. But so after 2.5 years of trying to do it, I closed it, and and this actually leads in to the book like a boss story, like how we got to this.
I gotta tell you though. Let me interrupt you for a second. I have a really, 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 really good friend. Her name is Sherry Matthews. I'm sure she will eventually watch this. I'll actually tell her to watch it. She has a company called Heal in Comfort, and she patented a shirt for women. Sherry is a breast cancer survivor, and she noticed that they give you an instruction sheet like, hey, after you've been in for your surgery and had your breasts removed, make sure you bring your husband's shirt because you're going to want to put something baggy on that's not tight and rubbing against the area.
Right.
And she's like, you've already lost your dignity, and they're telling you to bring your husband's shirt. So she literally she's an engineer. She's brilliant. I don't even know how many patents she has, but she has a bunch. And I love this woman. I should connect you guys because she has this. It's called healinComfort.com. You can check it out. She's amazing.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
She's amazing, and she's been through all the same stuff you're talking about. I mean, like a lot of it. So
yeah, it's. I mean, I learned again. We talked about before about learning by doing. Like, I definitely made a lot of mistakes, and I had a lot more trust because I'm just a very trusting person.
Right.
But I learned from my mistakes. But it's not so easy. People think, oh, just launch an apparel line and make tons of money. It is super hard.
Yeah.
It is. Let me tell you, it's super hard. But anyway, I was so burnt out from trying to get that off the ground and from my previous company. I said, I'm going to take a break from starting companies. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to launch a podcast. I wanted to do coaching. And so I took off, some time to do that. And what happened was when my podcast came out, my book came out, I was getting people emailing me, messaging me like every day. Hey, can I take you out for coffee? Hey, can I pick your brain? Hey, can we get on a call? I was like, oh, well, I'm a coach. I charge for my time. Oh, how much do you charge? Oh, I charge $250 an hour. Oh, I didn't know that. Can I get back to you? It was just like a lot of back. Well, can you tell me more about yourself? I said, I wish there was a way I could just send somebody a link that says, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what people say about me. Here are the most frequently asked questions. Here's my calendar. Book me and pay for it all in one place.
Right.
I said that would be brilliant. I said that way it's no back and forth. Yeah. People can see that I'm a professional. People can see what other people have said about me. They could see, that I know what I'm talking about, and they could see the different offers I have, whether it's a 45-minute session or you want to put me on retainer. They could learn everything they need to know. I don't have to waste time. And then either they'll if they're not willing to pay, well then they won't contact me again. If they are, then I'll just get money.
Right.
And I get paid up front, so I don't even have to worry about collecting money.
Yeah.
So I tried. So it didn't exist. I mean, obviously there were, calendar apps out there, dozens of them, but nothing that had everything. And so I tried building on WordPress, but to try and get the calendar apps to work with the videos, to work with the testimonials, and that it should look good on mobile. And it was just a nightmare. I said, I can't. I'm not doing this. And I went to hire a programmer. I said, yeah, I could do this for about $3,000. And I said, I'm not paying $3,000 for this. Anyway, as I'm thinking about this and having this problem, a friend of mine whose sister is a masseuse, she wrote him. She said, listen, I'm not technical at all, but is there some sort of software out there where I could just say, hey, these are the massages I offer. Here's my calendar.
Wow.
Let people book me and pay for it all in one place. And then that's when the bells went off in my head, and I said, wow, if here's a masseuse that has this problem, and I as a business coach has this problem, the gig economy is exploding.
Yep.
I bet there are probably millions of other people have that same problem. An easy to use software that makes it easy to sell services online. And then again, everything was just started to roll. A good friend of mine who I'd worked with on another project named David Yudkowitz, who's our CTO, he became available, and I pitched him the idea, and he loved it, and we started building it. 3 months in, we brought in another co-founder, Lloyd Schroeder, who is a top-of-the-line designer. And then we spent about a year building it, and then we launched, and now it's 2 years later, and we're up to almost 18,000 users in over 100 countries. We're in 6 languages. Yeah. And I mean, you've seen the product, you use the product, and thank God we grow every day.
Dude, it's this Book Like a Boss, and for anybody that wants to sign up, I don't have an affiliate link, by the way. I need to get one of those.
I'll hook you up.
Yeah, but anybody, listen, for real, I use it. It's not even about the money for me. I've been using, and I'm just gonna say it. I've been using Calendly for a long time, and I think paying $20 a month or something like that, and it's missing some elements, and it's when Matt Koenig from Rockstar Auto Conference when he told me about Book Like a Boss, I was like, dude, what? And so like he actually showed me the page he created for himself. And I charge $4.50 an hour for coaching. And I get those, hey, can I pick your brain? I get those like, no, yes, you can. I charge a 1 hour minimum and pick away. Like
Right.
you know, but and there, you're right. There's no easy way to just send out something saying, here, pay me, click the link and book it. Let's go. Let's roll. There's no
Exactly.
easy way.
Yeah, that's the pain point that we really solve. And also we kept in mind, and we knew that there's a lot of people out there that are not technical, whether they're plumbers, electricians. Well, electrician, I guess, is technically technical.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that they don't know how they don't want. You have site builders and stuff, but you still
Yeah.
need some sort of degree to really do these site builders. We wanted something that was just simple, easier than drag and drop. Just we make the whole thing just simple
It is
and
simple.
give everything you need. And yeah, thank God the market has responded very positively to it.
And it integrates well with it integrates with PayPal and Stripe and all of these other payment platforms. You guys are it's connected with Zapier, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, we're with Zapier and with Zoom,
Zoom.
Mailchimp,
Yep.
dozens of others, and more always coming.
Yeah. So it's incredibly cool so booklikeaboss.com, right?
Yep.
That's just how they.
Easy to spell, easy to remember.
Yeah, Book Like a Boss. And I see you're using the initials Blab, which was a platform, if you remember. It was a social a video, well, I guess social media kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny because we didn't initially call ourselves Blab. That's something that came from who we call our bosses. Every time someone signs up, they're a boss,
Yeah.
and we call them our bosses. But it came from. I mean, we have a active Facebook group with over 3,500 bosses,
Wow.
and they came up with it because it's just easier to say than to
Yeah.
than to write it out.
Blab was actually really cool.
Yeah,
They
they're
didn't
just.
make
I
it.
think
I don't know why.
there was a couple of they had stiff competition at the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I used to get on there with Grant Cardone. We'd get on and some other people, and it was a lot of fun back in the day. But, so you have 18,000 users right now?
Yeah,
That's incredible, man.
yeah.
So, and there's what's the potential market for that? It's got to be in the millions.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
hairdressers, anybody.
Yeah,
That
no, it's funny because half our clients use it for using it for booking meetings and appointments, even if they're not selling a service,
right.
and the other half are using it to sell a service. But we haven't really
I use
started
it for both.
right, and we make it very easy to use for both, depending on
Yep.
what plan you're on. But we haven't even scratched the market yet. I actually haven't done any active marketing. Everything has really been word of mouth.
Yeah.
Uh, and we did launch an AppSumo campaign in 2017 that brought in our initial
Yeah.
thousands of users, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's just been growing since.
Dude, it's an incredible platform, and I'm really really glad to be a part of it. I mean, this is kind of the early stages, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, people,
Yeah.
we get a lot. We're very responsive to our users, and we
Very.
take note of everything they tell us. But we have a to-do list that's over 100 things long,
Yeah.
and we have some great features coming out. And yeah, it's funny because talk about you said you have a lot of entrepreneurs that are watch your show,
Yeah.
and listen to your podcast. We have it's always a decision whether you should bootstrap or take investments. And we decided to bootstrap just because for previous experience I had not had great success with investors.
Yeah.
I took advantage and horrible stuff. So I said, you know
Yeah.
what, this time we're going to bootstrap. And so we've been bootstrapping. We've turned down a few offers for investments over the last year and a half.
Yeah.
But now, actually, as a team, we said, you know what, now we're going to go out and raise because we've proven the market. We're making money. But if we really want to grow and take it to the next level, we feel we're going to have to raise some money to really do that. So it's an interesting dilemma, how I tell entrepreneurs, before you take money, hold out for as long as you can, really,
Yeah.
and only take it when you need it for growth.
And what's interesting is I bootstrapped mine, man. I literally was fresh out of a divorce, and a buddy of mine handed me $20 and said, "Dude, this is it, man. You got to figure it out. Like, you got to figure it out." And I was like,
Wow.
"Figure what out?" And he's like, because I was staying at his house. He's like, "You got to get out of my house."
Oh man.
I was like, "Whoa, man!" Like, and I mean, I had lost everything, and so I mean, I knew how to do web development and design, and so I just went out and started knocking on doors that day, man. And I got somebody to pay me $600 to update their website. That could have been $6 million, and it would have meant the same to me, right? So
Right.
That's how
Amazing.
That's how you start, man. You just go.
You got to hustle,
You gotta
100%.
hustle. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, you got some really cool stuff. So, man, I think I wish we would have thought a little more ahead and been able to show your actual platform to some people on here. But do you offer a free trial or not?
Yeah, and we have you can sign up for free to try it out. We're actually one of the things we're working on now is to do a like a 2-week free trial for any of the paid plans. So that's coming, but we have a free trial now that you could sign up for a free plan. You don't get to use all the features, but you definitely get the look and feel. And most people end up I think subscribing just because if you need a calendar, if you need a scheduler, if you need something that makes it easy to sell services, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I guess that's part of the job.
Yeah.
It really is a fantastic platform, and you go to Capterra and look us up. We have over 160 5-star reviews. Yeah. People really love us, and we love our users, and that's how we roll.
And let me give you a plug here, man, because I've as I was setting some of this stuff up, and I still have things I need to set up, and I'm seeing your emails come in on the automated campaigns and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, right. I'm gonna reply to the CEO. Let's see if he responds, and holy crap, you did within like 10 minutes. I was like, geez. And then we're emailing back and forth. I'm like, wow, this is the dude. Like, this is really him. Like, and so, you're very, very responsive, which I think is incredible. It's probably the foundation of your growth, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For any business, you got to treat your customers like gold, and everyone matters.
Yeah.
Of course, like with any company, there's churn, and I take it personally when someone leaves us, even they have good reasons and, whatever, but still it's like every person is a whole life and has a whole history and has a whole family, and if we can make that person's life easier or better, help them make money or or grow their companies or business, it's very personal to us. And very often people, you mentioned before, I'm in Israel, which is 7 hours ahead of the East Coast.
Yeah.
And many times, if I wake up in the middle of the night, tickets, and very often I'm in the Facebook group responding to requests and questions because our users are our lifeline. They're our blood. And I always say there's a biblical term, treat others how you want to be treated.
Yep.
Right. And from Ethics of Our Fathers.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's treat if you want to treat people how you want to be treated, and you'll always succeed.
That's it, man. And I think that with what I said something to you about a feature with the email stuff, and you're like, yeah, dude, we're adding that. It's coming soon. Like, and you're constantly making this better. And it's already better than any other platform I've ever used. So here's the thing. To anybody watching this right now, if you do anything with a calendar that requires, there's nothing I hate more than going, hey, how about Tuesday at 1, or would 3 o'clock be better? And then somebody, hey, Melissa Burrow, how are you? And then they reply and they go, yeah, I'm not available at those times. What other times do you have available? And I'm like, oh my God. How about Thursday at 11 a.m.? Oh, no, I can't. That's my show time. How about Thursday at 9 a.m.? Or would 3 in the afternoon be better? Oh, I'm out all day Thursday. Holy Mother of God, what's gonna work? Like, and we've all been through that if you're trying to schedule things. So this gives you the ability to not only throw your calendar out there, but you can actually put a picture, a portfolio of pictures of people that you've done business with. You can put testimonials on your page and embed your calendar and integrate payment. Like if you need to collect payments for anything up front, like you can collect payments from people, right? All built into Book Like a Boss. It's incredible.
Ken, you're hired.
No, dude, I mean it's incredible. Like it's just a really great platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So anybody watching this, go sign up for Book Like a Boss. Just sign up. Like it's like
Just
cheap
do it.
too.
Just
What
do
are
it.
what are the month like $9 and or
Yes,
what,
starts at $9 a month, and our top plan is $29 a month, and you get 2 months free if you pay annually.
yeah. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's the one that right in the middle, the most popular one? How much is that?
I believe there's again, because there are people that want to just use it for booking appointments and for meetings and stuff like that. So that top plan is $12 a month.
Yeah.
And then, which is pretty popular. But if you want to actually sell services, the middle plan there is at $19 a month.
Yeah. It's no money. No money at all. You guys need to go check it out. Why did my thing just got blurry? I don't know why this camera does that. It loses control of its autofocus. But anyway, so go check it out, and it's man, I want to say your name.
Nachum.
Say it again.
Nachum.
Nachum.
Perfect.
Did I get it?
Yeah, perfect.
Man, I'm gonna be speaking Yiddish by the end of the day. Oy vey. So look, man, I think you're awesome. I really I think you got a great thing going, and 18,000 users on the platform already.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Thank you. Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, right.
It's great. We're just getting started, so definitely join us.
So anything else you want to share with my audience as we wrap up here?
Go for it, man. Whenever I tell people, and I get, the number one question I'm asked is like, how do I know what idea is good? And my number one answer is find a pain point. What's the pain that you're having, right? If you could solve a pain point that people are willing to pay for, then, you have something gold, and be patient. Things don't happen overnight. I think it was, Evan from Twitter, who said it took me 10 years to become an overnight success story.
Yep.
Right. Ken, you definitely put in your years for sure. We all do. And so have patience and look for that pain point, and always treat your customers like gold.
Let me ask you this, and I ask every single guest this because two more questions and we're going to wrap this up. But one is, what do you think? See, I think the world is, in my book, I'm a best-selling author, and so in my book I wrote, one of my favorite quotes is this. There's no such thing as an original thought. All wisdom is plagiarized. Only stupidity is original, right? So I heard that somewhere. It's one of my favorite quotes because, like, if I quote somebody, I'm friends with Zig Ziglar's kids, and I have all these, people that Zig brought me up in sales with Jeffrey Gitomer and Tommy Hopkins and all these other people that I'm connected to now, and so, like, if I quote somebody, I'll always say, hey, that was Nietzsche that said that, or that was, whoever, right? But if I don't remember, I don't remember, and I'll say, I don't remember, right? There's a lot of people out there trying to spout off quotes on social media and pretend like it's theirs. And I'm like, dude, Einstein said that, you dipshit. What are you doing? like, right?
There's actually a Jewish law that says that you're not allowed to say something in someone else's name without giving them credit.
Right.
It's actually a law.
I believe that, yeah. So, like, what do you think the number one thing is that keeps people from, like, maybe they have an idea that they want to pursue, maybe they have a business idea, maybe they have a guy they want to ask out, a girl they want to ask out, and obviously the most common answer to this question is fear, but I want to see if you can go deeper. And so what do you think is holding people back from taking action towards that?
Okay, so you're definitely correct. Fear is number one answer, but to go deeper and be more specific, I would say it's the people caring what other people think. Right? That is really, if you care what other people think, you're never going to go anywhere, because you're always going to be judging yourself. Oh, what's this person going to say? What's this person going to do? What's this, what's going to, and that's what holds people back. And it's funny because that's why social media, took off like a storm, because it was a way for people to get credit and get other people to say, oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow, look what you ate. You hardly will ever see me posting a picture of food on, Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, because I don't think it's important that people should know what I eat. Right? How's that help them? Unless I was a foodie blog or something like that, right?
Right.
But but people are so worried what other people are going to say, and that's just something that my whole life I just never really cared about. I just did what I wanted to do, and it didn't. I mean, of course, it got me in trouble when I was younger because I didn't care what the teachers. Getting kicked out of 3 schools. Didn't come from being such a good boy and listening to my teachers. But
right.
That. But if you're always going to worry about other people say, that's going to hold you back. Just don't care about what other people are going to say. Just move forward, do what you got to do, and let them come back to you 10 years later and say, oh my gosh, I never thought you could have done this, but wow. And I get that a lot from people.
Have you ever been through? I can remember one day, and I have this friend that they own a company doing the father started this company. They do $100 million a year now in business, and I remember when I had my first office. I had a designer. I had a programming team in India. I had a designer in-house that would do all the Photoshop and all that stuff. And I was doing sales and building it up, right? I had one employee and I couldn't make payroll with one employee. And I was like, son of a... And so I call up my buddy's dad and I said, I'm not calling you for money. I said, I'm calling for advice. I need to know what's the secret? How do you make it? I have one employee and I can't make payroll. Like, it's insane. What is going on here? And And he says, Ken, there's no secret. He said, well, hold on. If there is one, this is it. Okay, he goes, because I went hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt on my credit cards making payroll. There were times when I had 40, 50 employees and I couldn't make payroll. So I'd have a company meeting and say, hey, we're going to get you next week. Can't make payroll this week. And he goes, and a lot of them left. A lot of them walked out and a lot of them stayed. And the ones that stayed are very, very wealthy today. He said, however, the secret is this. You got to stay in the ring. You got to keep running. You got to keep fighting. And you don't let that blanking tiger catch you. That was it. I said, oy vey. Are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, that's it. And he's like, that's it, man. You got to stay in the ring, man. You got to keep fighting no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Any successful entrepreneur has had their failures. You hear about them when they're big success, but everybody has had their scars and, but being able to get back up again, that's what, the difference between an entrepreneur and just a guy with an idea. Dude, entrepreneurs just keep going, keep getting up again and keep moving forward.
I had my car repossessed in front of my employees one time. I was making payroll. I just wasn't making my car payment. So, and one of my employees comes in my office, hey, there's a guy looking in the windows of your SUV, and I go, well, tell him to get the hell out of here. And he goes, well, he's kind of got it blocked with a tow truck. I go, definitely tell him get the hell out of here. What like get shoot him or something. What's going like so and this question I ask of every guest, and that is, let's say somebody called you up and they said, look, man, it's falling apart. I can't figure it out. My car got repoed last week. The electric's getting shut off tomorrow. I don't know what to do. My credit's destroyed. I couldn't finance a bologna sandwich right now. What in God's name am I supposed to do? What do you? Because you and I know that it starts right here. Those conversations up there, right? But what are you going to say to that person in that moment to help get them over the hump?
Listen, it's tough because, I've been there. I mean, I never had a car repossessed, but I've definitely had my electricity shut off, not being able to pay for it. I've definitely sacrificed tremendous amounts to my family. And thank God, if it wasn't for my wife, who's always stood behind me and never once in, 20 years of marriage ever said, hey, get a job, because she knows who I am and she knows, what I'm about. It's not easy. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It really isn't, right? And that's why so few succeed, and that's why there are so few successful ones. But you have to tough it out. I've been there, and I've sacrificed a lot, and I've gone into tremendous debt. But I just won't take no for an answer. I'll just keep moving forward. If you believe in your idea, you believe in your vision, and you are solving that pain point, just keep moving forward. Do it. Do whatever it takes.
Wow.
That's what I tell them. But really, before they got into such a position, they probably should have spoken to someone like you before they started their business to see if this is really something I should be doing. Is my idea good enough? Always get counsel from people before starting a business, because you could lose a lot of money. You could lose your life. You lose your house and your car, right? And you got to first see if you have what it takes, and if you know what it takes to become an entrepreneur and start a business. And you have to be able to have the get the outside help, and even speak to potential clients to see, hey, will they pay you for what you're building or what you're manufacturing or your software you're creating, and will they pay you enough that'll enable you to pay your bills?
Yeah.
And people get so hyped up with the idea that they forget to do that part, and that could only cause a lot of stress down the line. I've seen, and I'm sure you have as well, hundreds of people that have lost everything. Either the idea wasn't good enough, or they just were not entrepreneurial.
Well, and let me play the devil's advocate on that for a minute, because I agree with you. I do agree, but I will say this, that I have hanging in my office over on the wall across from me the Theodore Roosevelt quote that's, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. And it's about staying in the ring and the getting bloodied up and all of that. I've lost everything multiple times in my life. And in my 20s, I was making millions and lost it all of it, because of just dumb, stupid shit. I made dumb decisions, right? So,
Right.
I agree with you, and it's painful to go through that. However, pain is the predecessor of all wisdom. And I think,
absolutely.
I think that people are living life to avoid pain. Tony Robbins talks about that. We live life to avoid pain and gain pleasure, and that's true, but too many people are afraid of the pain. They think that the pain is going to, if they lost everything, well, that's the end of life. If they lost everything, it's over. And that's just not the case, man. It's not the case. The day that my car got repossessed and I had 5 employees standing around me outside of our office watching this a-hole tow truck driver put my vehicle up on his truck, I was literally like, life is over now. Like, this is the last day of my life. Like, this is it. And
Right.
and that's just not the case. It's
Oh,
not
absolutely
the
not.
case.
You got to get, again, all successful entrepreneurs have been there, have been through that pain,
Yeah.
and you can't avoid it. It's part of it, and you should expect it and know what's going to happen. There's always going to be ups and downs, but as I said before, getting up and knowing how to get
Getting
up and
up.
keep moving forward, staying in that ring, as you said, that's what it's all about.
Dude, that's it, man. That's it. No matter what, don't give up. Here you are now, the CEO of Book Like a Boss. You got 18,000 people already on your platform, subscribers. Like, that's insane. That's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm sure this time next year you're going to have 180,000 subscribers or more.
Hope so.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm sure that you will. It's a phenomenal platform, and you actually care about your customers. The fact that, I'm getting your marketing emails and I respond, and then you yourself reply back to me, not because you know who I am, not because I have a TV show and I'm a #1 best-selling author or any of that.
Had no idea.
You had no idea. You're just like,
Right.
This dude's one of my customers. He's what you refer to as a boss, right? And
Exactly.
and you respond. And that's
Yep.
insane. So I am looking forward to, first off, I'm going to have to go boot somebody from Facebook. I'm at the 5,000 friend limit, but you and I are going to be Facebook friends. And hopefully,
I'm happy to do the same.
yeah, let's make that happen today.
I gotta boot someone.
But I think that I'm looking forward to seeing your growth. I'm looking forward to continuing to use Book Like a Boss. Anybody on here watching this, go to booklikeaboss.com. You have a free version on there, right? A light
Sure.
version?
Yeah, we have a free version that you could use and, use it forever.
Yeah. So there's a free version you can use forever. If you want some of the more advanced features, it starts at $9 a month and then $12 a month. And I think there was one I saw for whatever.
19 and 29.
Yeah. I mean, the maximum is 29, I think, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It is a powerful booking tool, way better than anything else out there. And trust me, I've used all of them. All of them. Because it's a nightmare trying to go back and forth booking people on your calendar.
Absolutely.
So,
Ken, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's really been an honor. It's an honor getting to know you and now to get your audience. And yeah, we're definitely going to be in touch. I love your vibe. I love, what you give over. And I can't wait to learn more about you and build our friendship.
Likewise, man. And I'm going to learn how to say your name. One more time.
Nachum.
You
Great. You get it great.
That. Nachum. Okay. All right. So Nachum, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I appreciate it. And you booked your appointment through Book Like a Boss.
Right, which is fantastic. You used the platform. I booked my appointment with you, and it worked great. Got the reminder emails. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Great platform.
That's awesome. All right, well, listen, thank you all for watching. To anybody who shared this out, thank you. Like, you rock. I love it when I see people share this out. Appreciate it. Nachum, don't hang up on Skype. Thank you, guys. We will see you later. James Springer, go back and watch the replay, bro. This is a phenomenal interview. So thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.